Okay, day number 2. So yesterday we were multiplying exponents and rationalizing fractions, exponential fractions. Today we're raising a power to a power. So if I have something like x squared and I want to raise that whole statement to another power. So I have x squared to the power of 3. We know what this means is that we're going to multiply this by itself 3 times. So I can write this as x squared times x squared times x squared. So I'm multiplying it by itself 3 times. X squared is x times x. Then I've got another x times x and one more. So this guy goes here, that one's here, that one's here. Now we can count how many x's do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is x to the 6th. So our rule for this is when we're raising a power to a power, we're going to take our base value, take the power on the inside, and multiply it by the power on the outside. So 2 times 3 is x to the power of 6, which we can see we got the same thing here. So let's try another one of those. Let's say I have p to the 5th power. We want to raise that to the 4th power. So that means I have 4 p to the 5th power. If we follow our rule, we can just do p to the 5 times 4, which would be p to the 20. We can check that. It's going to be a lot of p's. 1, 2, or we have p. There's my first set of p to the 5. Then we've got another one. Another set of p to the 5. So p to the 5th, p to the 5th. Another set. There's another p to the 5th. And our last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 4 p to the 5th, and that gives us, if we count those out, p to the 20th. So you're taking your exponent on the inside and you're multiplying it by the exponent on the outside. We're saying we have 4 sets of 5 p's. Okay, and then the second part of this is pretty similar, but we're going to be raising a product to a power. So remember, a product is when you're taking 2 numbers and you're multiplying them by each other, and then we're going to raise that to a power. So maybe I would have 2x squared. So here's my product, 2 things multiplied by each other. And I'm going to raise this entire statement to a power. So what this is now I have 5 sets of 2x squared. 2x squared, 2x squared, 2x squared, 2x squared, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've rewritten this 5 times to show our power of 5. I can rearrange this, put all my numbers together. I have 5 2's. I have 5 x squareds. So I can rewrite this as 2 to the 5th power times x squared to the 5th power. Okay, and then x squared to the 5th power, we know we're going to take our inside exponent and multiply it by our outside exponent. 2 to the 5th power is maybe 32. You might want to check that. So we have 32 x to the 10th power, and we could take a look at this. We could break this down even further to get our pairs of x squareds. We can count out that we're going to eventually end up with 10 x's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. So when we're multiplying, raising a product to a power, all that we have to do instead of writing out all of this statement is we're going to take this 5th power and we're going to put it in both parts of the product. So 2 to the 5th power times x squared to the 5th power. So we could just get here without doing all this step. It takes us to right here. And then again, that should be 32 x to the 2 times 5, which is 32 x to the 10th. When we're multiplying fractions, so let's say I have something like problem number 4, part B, says 3c to the 5/2. That whole product to the 4th power, and then c squared to the 3rd power. So now we're going to do this in 2 different steps. I'm going to start with this guy, and then we'll go to that one. So I'm going to use my power for both parts. So this is going to be 3 to the 4th times c to the 5/2 times 4. And then we still have one of these over here. So when I'm multiplying fractions, what I want to do is make both of these a fraction. So I'm going to put 4 over 1. And when you multiply fractions, they just multiply straight across. So 3 to the 4th, we'll keep that. C, 5 times 4 is 20. 2 times 1, whoops, is 2. And then we've still got this guy, c squared, c squared to the 3rd. 3 to the 4th is 81. C, 20 divided by 2 just gives us c to the 10th power. Now we're going to just multiply this as we did before. We're going to take our inside exponent, multiply it by our outside. 2 times 3. You guys can do these steps at the same time once you get comfortable, but if it's easy to split it up, then split it up. We have 81 times c to the 10th times c to the 6th. Now we're back to what we had yesterday, where we have 2 bases with 2 different exponents. And as we saw yesterday, we're going to add our exponents. So our end result should be 81c to the 16th. Okay, so that's it for 10-2. I don't think I'm missing anything for today. So let me know if you run into any problems, and then I'll post the video for 10-3. And you guys will be free for spring break. Thanks.